And today's tip of the week is investors have to learn how to get creative.
Yeah, so we really wanted to tell you guys that, you know what, in this market, when you have multiple offers, you have to look for different sorts of properties. The first sort of property you have to look for is a problem property. What is a problem property? A problem property could be a property that has tenants in it, and you have to assume tenants that may be paying a lower rate, of course, to what the tenants should be paying today. And you may have to assume them, Tim, for maybe 4 or 5 months or 6 months. It could be a year, but sometimes it's worth it if you're getting a deal. Tim, there was another property I was showing you online the other day that they actually ripped out a bedroom and put a dining room into. And now we've seen problem properties out there, but this isn't a major problem property, but there are sometimes layout issues with properties.
Yeah, so calling it a problem property could mean a layout issue, like Azad said. It could be its position on the street somewhere in the neighborhood. It could be, like Azad said, the length of the lease that the tenants are in it. They could be on a year lease, and that the owner's selling it right now, but that lease doesn't end for another 6-7 months. If that happens, you cannot buy it to move into with a 5% down mortgage. You have to buy it as an investment property. So problems can come up, and they do come up with properties over time. And we like to search for problem properties in times like today because they're easier for our investors to get.
Yeah, and sometimes they scare people. So regular people that are moving into properties, it doesn't work for them because of the layout, and then you have to, they'll just walk out of there.
Yeah.
So that property will sit on the market, and that's when investors can get a good deal, when it does sit on the market. Now, you need to remember, you want to always buy below the average. Tim was just showing me before the seminar, detached homes are going for, on average, $708,000, which is ridiculous. We picked up a property last night. We can't disclose where because it's conditional, but we picked it up for $540,000. Yes, it has an unfinished basement, but Tim, there's so much room in that property because the average is sitting over $700,000.
Yeah, and even with an unfinished basement, our investor can finish that basement, and he's quite handy. He's going to do most of it himself. He can finish that basement for $40,000, $45,000, and that will still have him below the average. So finding those properties is key in this marketplace.
And the other thing we're looking for are areas where no one's buying. I know, Tim, we're in Abbeydale earlier this year. We bought some properties up there for clients, and we hadn't been in there for so long. So if the market keeps going up, the hot areas, Tim, are too hot for us.
Yeah.
So we go into good neighborhoods, and you got to get creative and look at some of these other areas where people normally don't invest, and go see what you can find in there. And we could tell you, we bought one in there earlier this year, I think, Tim, for $420,000. Beautiful suite in there. It's getting renovations right now, but the market has even surpassed 425, and they're selling upwards over 450, 470 right now. So you have to set the tone in the market, go where people aren't going, and make a few bucks from it.
Yeah, and that doesn't mean going to the worst neighborhood, the worst street in the worst neighborhood in the city. That means just going to neighborhoods that are just not traditionally rental markets, because as rents have gone up over the last couple of years, mortgage payments have also gone up because of the interest rate. The average price has gone up. So what that's doing is pushing our investors down into some neighborhoods that they didn't used to go into. Does that mean that they're bad neighborhoods? No, it doesn't. They're still getting premium rents in those neighborhoods, and they're choosing the right tenants.
Yeah, I mean, we're running all the crime stats. We're working out who's living in those neighborhoods, what the rents are. That's the first and most important thing. And is your property going to be looked after? If that is your first Crew tip of the week, subscribe to Crew TV, because there's many, many more tips that could make you a lot of money and save you a lot of headaches.
Yeah, so thanks for listening to the Crew tip of the week.